Okay, let's start our discussion of arrays, which we were discussing in the previous class. We were discussing about this program, write a C program to read 5 integer numbers for an array and display all the elements of an array. And we had already discussed this much. I mean, reading, we'll ask the user to enter 5 integer numbers. When user enters 5 integer numbers, we have to actually read those numbers and store those numbers in an array which we have already created in the beginning, and store those numbers in the array. Clear? So to store the numbers, to read and store the numbers, we are using scanf statement here. Scanf, because we are reading 5 integer numbers, we are going to write 5%d here because we are reading 5 integer numbers. Okay. Next thing is, we have discussed this ampersand a of 0, ampersand a of 1, ampersand a of 2, ampersand a of 3, ampersand a of 4. But the problem here is, if I'm reading so many numbers, more than 10 numbers or 20 numbers, I need to keep writing this ampersand, array name, and index name. That is not a good way of writing programs. So what we are going to do is, instead of writing this much, we are going to write something else here. Just observe this program. Okay, so enter 5 integer numbers. We are asking the user to enter 5 integer numbers. After user enters 5 integer numbers here, what we have to do is, because we have already created the array, floating point array. Okay, again there is a mistake here. It's not floating point array. It should be integer array here. Okay, so we are declaring an integer array. Then we are creating an array with consecutive memory blocks with some index values with some address here: 100, 102, 104, 106, and 108. After that, we are creating an integer variable int I. We're asking the user to enter 5 integer numbers. User has to enter 5 integer numbers here. How to read those numbers? Instead of writing a larger scanf statement, a big scanf statement, we are going to use for loop here. For loop is easier than writing so much in scanf statement, a single scanf statement. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to write for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. This is what I'm writing here. Now observe, there is a variable called as I. I have already told you people that I is mainly used for index values. Okay. Now, why I'm declaring I is equal to 0? Because the first number which user enters and which program is going to read, that number should be that number should be stored in a memory block with the first index value. What is the first index value? That is 0. That's why I'm writing I is equal to 0. I less than 5. Why I'm writing I less than 5? If the array size is 5, what will be the last index value? Last index value will be 4. That's why we are writing I less than 5. Okay, I less than 5. That's why we are writing I less than 5. I plus plus. I plus plus. Every time we have to increment values of all the index values, or the value of I which represents the index value. Now, because the value of I is 0 and I less than 5, 0 less than 5, condition is true, computer enters here, it executes this scanf statement. Observe the scanf statement here. First number which is entered by the user. When user enters the first number, scanf percentage %d, only 1%d I am writing here, ampersand a of I am writing here. A of I, what is the initial value of I? Initial value of I is 0. Ampersand a of I means ampersand a of 0. Ampersand a. Address of a. Address of a is 100. A of 0. Index value of a is 0. In that particular memory block, the value, first value entered by the user must be stored. That particular memory block is first memory block. That is how first value entered by the user gets stored in first memory block here. After storing that value, computer goes from here to the increment part of for loop. Okay, increment part of for loop, that is I plus plus. When I plus plus gets executed, the value of I which was initially 0 becomes 1. Value of I ಎಷ್ಟು 1 ಆಯ್ತು. Okay, so value of I 1 ಆದಾಗ, from here it will go to the condition part. It will check the condition I less than 5. What is the meaning of I less than 5? That is value of I less than 5. Right now current value of I is 1. 1 less than 5 condition is true. 1 less than 5 condition is true. So what happens here is, because the condition is true, it enters here. Again it executes the scanf statement. Okay, scanf percentage d ampersand a of, right now the current value of I is 1, so ampersand a of 1 means second memory block. There the second value entered by the user gets stored. So I value of I has become 1. First value is already being stored. Second value is getting stored now. Now after second value is stored, it goes back here. Value of I, because of I plus plus, now it becomes 2. Value of I becomes 2. Okay, so when the value of I becomes 2 here, the value of I becomes 2, it will check the condition I less than 5. What is the meaning of this condition? Value of 2, value of I is 2, 2 less than 5, condition is true. Again it enters here, it will execute the scanf statement. It stores the third value. So this keeps on happening. The value of I keeps on incremented, and the values which are entered by the user keeps on, they'll be stored by scanf statement every time when scanf statement is executed. So value of I becomes 4, then the fifth value gets stored here. Once the value of I becomes 5 here, I plus plus ಆದಾಗ, I value 5 ಆದಾಗ, it'll check the condition I less than 5. What happens there is, so what happens there is, the value of I becomes 5. Condition fails. 5 less than 5. Condition fails. Because condition fails here, computer won't enter here. It goes to the next part of the program. Now you can observe here, because of this for loop, we have read all the elements of the array. We have read all the elements of the array, and all the elements of the array are stored in. We have read all the elements entered by the user are stored in array one by one, respective based on the index values. Okay. Now we have, because we have stored all the elements in an array entered by the user, we can display those elements on the output screen, as the program says, display all the elements on the elements of the array. So to display the elements of the array, again, so display the elements of the array, again we are going to use same thing, that is we are going to print a statement, array elements are. How to display elements of all the elements of an array? Instead of writing a single printf statement with so many percentage d, I'm going to write a for loop. I'm going to write a for loop. Within that for loop, I'm going to write something like this. See, for I is equal to 0. See, I'm using the same variable I here. When the condition of this for loop had failed, here for loop in condition fail agaga, I value estitu 5 ittu, I have to make it 0, because if I am printing all the elements of the array, I have to start from first element of the array, printing from the first element of the array. If I have to print the first element of the array, I need to get the first index value, that is 0. That means I value must be 0. That's what we are writing here. For I equals 0 ಅಂತ execute ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ value of I becomes 0. Okay, I equals 0 ಅಂತ execute ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ value of I ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. We'll check the condition now. I less than 5. I less than 5. What is the current value of I now? After the updation, it is 0. 0 less than 5, condition is true. When what happens when the condition is true? It enters here, it executes this printf statement. Because we are printing the elements on the output screen, I'm going to use printf statement here, printf percentage d. I'm not going to use ampersand because it is printf. It doesn't need ampersand here. Printf percentage d a of I. A of, what is the value of I right now? 0. A of 0 andre yav value? 10. A of 0, the value is 10. So 10. See, this part is when user enters the values. Okay, enter for integer numbers ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಯೂಸರ್ ಇವಿಷ್ಟು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ಎಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ we are writing this for loop. Print these values which we have already stored. So I'm writing this part here. So array elements are ಅಂತ print ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 10 print ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ 10 print ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ it will go back to the increment part of the for loop. It will increment the value of I. Now the value of I becomes 1. Value of I becomes 1. So it'll go to the next part, condition part, I less than 5. What is the latest value of I? 1. 1 less than 5. Condition is true. 1 less than 5. Condition is true. Condition true irutte. It enters a for loop. It executes printf statement again. Printf percentage d and a of I value is 1. A of I means a of 1. A of 1 is 20. So 20 gets displayed. Same thing happens repeatedly here. As the value of I gets incremented, different value of the array gets displayed on the output screen. But when the value of I becomes 5 here, after this incrementation, when the value of I becomes 5, we'll go to the condition part. It'll check the condition. I less than 5. I less than 5 means 5 less than 5. Condition fails. So it won't enter anywhere. So it just skips that part. It goes to the last part of the program, that is closing flag bracket. By that time, all the elements of array would be displayed on output screen. This is how you have to analyze array program, how to create an array, why we need this variable I here. Okay, how to ask the user to enter the values, how to read those values, how to print those values on the output screen. So that is a program. Okay, let's check the next program. Next, some programs here. Write a C program to read 5 floating point numbers for an array and display all the elements. Same thing. Same here. I'm reading 5 integer numbers. Only modification is I have to create a floating point array. I have to ask the user to enter floating point numbers. If I'm reading floating point numbers, I have to change this to %f. Okay. Another program. Write a C program to read 5 integer numbers of an array. Find sum of all the elements of the array and display the result. So this is a bit different from this program which we have discussed. Okay, let's discuss this program here. Observe the question and understand. Write a C program to read 5 integer numbers of an array. Okay, and find the sum of all the elements of the array. Okay, read ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ display ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. We have to find sum of all those elements of the array, then display result. That means sum of all the elements of the result. So that is what we have to check. So let's see how to write that program. I want you people to concentrate here, every line, and try to analyze. Okay, even I'll explain, but I want you people to concentrate and analyze. Let's see how it will work. Because they have said that the array should be question is write a C program to read 5 integer numbers. Okay, that's why I'm creating an integer array here. We have to for that array we have to read the integer numbers. Then we have to find the sum. So here, while declaring normal variables, I'm declaring 2 variables, I and sum. One is I, another one is called as sum. We know why we use I here. That is not a problem. We also should know that why we have to use one more variable called as sum. That I'll tell soon. Printf enter 5 integer numbers. Read ಅಂತ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನು ಬರೀತೀರಾ? Enter 5 integer numbers ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ. User starts entering the numbers. Clear? How to read those numbers and store those numbers in the array? Again, we have to use a for loop. For I is equal to 0, you know, you people know why we have to write for I is equal to 0 here. I less than 5. You know why we are writing this condition. I plus plus. This is also we know. Clear. because the initial value of I is 0 here, it will check the condition 0 less than 5, condition is true, it enters, it will read the first element and store that element in first index value with that address. So one store ಆಯ್ತು. This for loop keeps on running. Okay, ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿ run ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? 1 2 3 4 5 5 times it will run. After running 5 times, when it enters here 6th time, when the value of I becomes 5, okay, value of I 5 ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? It will check the condition. It will check the condition here. 5 less than 5. 5 less than 5. Condition fails. By that time, all the elements will be there in the array. All elements array store ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ. Okay. So condition false ಆದಾಗ it will come out of the for loop. Now we have all the elements of the array. Next thing is we have to find the sum of these elements. We have to find sum of these elements. So how to find this? We should not display anything. We have to find sum. So let's see how to find the sum here instead of displaying the elements on the output screen. First thing is, when we declare a variable called as sum, we have to initialize it equals to 0. Sum is equal to 0. So sum value na 0 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ. I will tell you why. Okay, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ನ ನೀವು ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we have to initialize that variable with some value. See, even I am initializing that with the 0 here. Similarly, I am initializing sum with the value 0. Okay, now let's go to the next part of the program here. See, immediately after this for loop, I'm going to write one more for loop here. Only reason for writing this for loop is to find the sum of all the elements which we have read using this for loop and stored here in the array. How to find the sum? Let's check here. I have to pick every number from the array one by one and add that number with the previous number. Remember, first number ತಗೊಂತೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನ previous number ಜೊತೆ add ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನ sum ಅಂತ ಕರ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. Okay, I'll consider it as sum. Second number I'll take, I'll add that with the previous sum. Okay, previous sum. Then I'll take the third number, add that with previous sum. Similarly, I have to keep on doing that. See, for that, if I take first number, I have to add that with the previous number. There is no previous number available here. If I add this number with any other number, so that this number won't get changed with any value, it should remain same. What number should I consider here? That number should be 0. Okay, ಈ ಒನ್ ಬೇರೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒನ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋಂಗೆ ಯಾವ ನಂಬರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? 0. That's why I'm initializing sum is equal to 0 here. Hope you have understood. Okay, now come to this place here. For I equals 0, you know why I'm taking I equals 0. I less than 5, you already know this. I plus plus, again you people know this. Because I have to take first number and add that with the existing number, I'm considering I is equal to 0. Now, because value of I is 0 and the condition is true here, for loop computer enters the statement block. Okay, computer enters the statement block. It will consider this line here. Sum is equal to sum plus A of I. Okay, observe the right side part of the program or expression here, sum plus A of I. What is the current value of sum? See, before that, A of I. What is the value of I? 0. A of I means A of 0. A of 0 means which number? 1. Now, I have got 1 here. I have to add this 1 with 0. Where that 0 is available? That 0 is available with the variable called as sum. That's why I am writing sum is equal to sum plus A of I. Sum only 0 store agide. 0 plus A of I is 1. 0 plus 1. What is the value? 1. Again, I'm storing that variable or that value in a variable called as sum. Sum on a variable alle store ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Sum of these two numbers 1 and 0, that is stored in the same variable called as sum. Now the current value or latest value of sum is not 0, it is 1. Okay, now from here it'll go back to the increment part. It'll increment the value of I. Value of I from 0 it becomes value of I from 0 it becomes 1. Okay, we'll check the condition 1 less than 5. Condition is true. Because the condition is true, it enters the statement block here. It will execute the line again. Now consider the right side part. What is the current latest value of sum here? Latest value of sum has become 1. Okay, 1 plus A of value of I has become 1. Okay, A of 1 andre yav value, A of 1, which value? 2. So 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 will be stored in the same variable. Now the latest value of sum has become 3. Latest value of sum has become 3 now. Okay, so hope you are getting this. See, 1 plus 0 ಮಾಡಿ 1 ಅಂತ ಸಿಕ್ತು, 2 plus 1 3 ಆಯ್ತು. Okay, 3 will be stored in a variable called as sum. Now it will go back again. It will go back again here. Okay, it'll check the condition I less than 5. It'll check condition here. I less than 5, condition is true. It'll enter. It'll keep on doing that. Now sum ಅಲ್ಲಿ latest value 3 store ಆಗಿದೆ. 3 plus A of I value 2 ಆಗಿದೆ. A of 2. A of 2 is 3. So 3 plus 3, 6. 6 will be stored in sum again. So it'll keep on doing this. Okay, every time when it executes, some value gets incremented. So by the time value of I becomes 5, I value 5 ಆಗೋವರೆಗೆ ಆಗೋ time ಅಲ್ಲಿ sum ಅಲ್ಲಿ 15 ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, because we can add here 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 3 6, 6 plus 4 10, 10 plus 5 15 value will be stored in variable called as sum. Okay, when the value of I becomes 5 here, 5 less than 5, condition fails, condition false ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 5 less than 5, so it will come out of the for loop. Okay, it will stop execution. Okay, I missed this part. Okay, I'll just value of I 3 ಇದ್ದಾಗ condition true ಆಯ್ತು, sum is equal to sum plus A of I. So sum value 6 ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 6 plus 4, sum value 10 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so value of I then becomes 4. Okay, 4 less than 5, condition true ಇದೆ, it will enter here, sum is equal to sum plus A of I. Current value of sum is 10. A of I value is 4. A of 4 will go to this place, will get the value 5 back here. 10 plus 5, sum becomes 15. When the value of 5 I becomes 5, condition fails, so it will come out of the for loop. Okay, then we have to print this result on the output screen. How to print that? Using the printf statement. Printf sum of all the elements of the array. Sum of all the elements of the array is percentage %d, where the value is stored in a variable called as sum. This is how it works. Okay, this is how you have to analyze. You have to understand the program, and you have to understand what to write and how to write the program in C or C++. So hope you have understood this program. That is the end of the program. There is one more program. Write a C program to read 5 integer numbers for an array. Find the sum and average. You can easily find the sum and average. See, what you can do here is, in the same program, you can do this modification. Int I sum, you can declare one more variable called as average or AVG, but don't declare it as int, because average of any value is, most of the times it is floating point number. So what I'm going to write here is int I sum. So next line only, float a average, I'll declare a variable float average. After that I'm going to write sum is equal to 0. This part remains as it is. Enter 5 integer numbers and all. Okay, reading the numbers, finding the sum remains also same, because to find the average we need to find sum. Is it correct? Before finding the average we need to know the sum, so this also remains same. Before I print or write this printf statement, what I'm going to do is, after this for loop, I'm going to write AVG is equal to sum divided by total number of values of the array. Total number of values are 5. So that expression I have to write sum divided by 5. That result will be stored in a variable called as AVG or average. So now you can print the sum first. Sum of all the elements of the array is percentage %d sum. You can print one more printf statement. Printf average of all the elements of the array is not percentage %d, it should be percentage %f, and the variable is average AVG. So close the program. So that is how you can update the program, or you can just modify the existing program based on the requirement. Okay, based on the requirement which is given in the question. That you should know here. This is one more program which we have discussed right now. Last kind of program in arrays. So you should remember this one also, because It is also very important here. Just read the question. Write a C program to read size and elements, size and elements of an array. Display all the elements on output screen. See, understand the question. We have to read elements. Read elements ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ observe ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. We have already uh, uh, we have already written the program on reading elements, but here it also says that we have to read the size of the array. Okay, apart from reading the elements, we have to also read size of the array. So let's see how to read size and elements. Usually in the previous programs, we would decide the size. Is it correct? How do you decide the size of the array? Size of the array is decided based on the question to read 5 integer numbers. I can easily find that size of the array should be 5. But here, sometimes what happens is, they won't specify how many elements you have to read. Okay, they'll just give this kind of question, read size and elements of the array. So you should be careful while writing that. So let's see how it works. Imagine, let's start with the program itself. Okay, imagine I have declared the size 5 itself again. Okay, I don't know because they have not given the question. In the question, they have not given what could be the size of the array. So what I'm going to do is, I'm deciding I'll consider the size as 5 itself. I'll declare a variable called as I. One more variable, I have given some space here. So what I'm going to write is enter the size of the array. This must be the first line of the program because I don't know exact size of the array. Only thing is, I have decided that size could be 5 here. Size 5 irbodu anta nane ankondidini, but I don't know the exact size. See, if you are asking someone to enter the size, okay, if you are, okay, imagine that you are sitting in front of the computer, you will get this message. What message? Enter the size of the array. If you want the size of the array should be 17. Okay, you will enter that number 17, and what I have to do is, I have to create an array of size 17. That means 17 memory blocks. But I have already decided that the size of the array is 5. That will be contradictory. See, if I decide the size of the array in the beginning itself here, problem is, if someone else wants size of the array should be larger, then this won't work. So let's see how it works. So enter the size of the array. So I have declared a variable called as I, memory block for that. Okay, so I'll declare one more variable called as n here. See, that n plays an important role here in this program, because if I ask someone to enter the size of the array, that someone may enter 10, 20, 17, any number. Okay, that number should be stored somewhere. To store that number, I'm using this variable called as n. N is created, memory block for n is also created. Now scanf, when user enters the number, size of the array, for example 10, I have to read that number and store that number in a variable called as n. So that's why I'm writing scanf %d %n. So if user wishes to have be the size of the array is 5 itself. So if user enters 5, the 5 will be stored in that particular variable called as n. Okay. Now, after asking the user to enter the size of the array, that is 5, next thing is, I have got the picture that user wants the size of the array 5. That means next time user will enter only 5 elements. Namge size of the array 5 ant gotidre. If I am deciding that the size of the array is 5, if I am the user, if I am the one who is entering the size, deciding the size, then I will be definitely knowing that element should be 5 itself. So after reading the size here, I'm asking the user to enter the elements of the array. So enter elements of the array anta display agutte. ನೀವು already size 5 anta enter ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, next time elements ಎಷ್ಟು enter ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? 5 elements enter ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. So I have taught this program has to read those 5 elements and store those elements in this particular array here. Now observe, because I have to always store the first element in the 0th index value, I am writing I is equal to 0. What is the condition? See, if the size of the array was exactly 5, I would have written I less than 5. Size of the array depends on the value of n here. See, illi user 5 anta enter ಮಾಡಿರಬಹುದು. ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ user will enter 10. So 10 will be there here. But I have declared it as 5. Now you may get confused here. I have declared the size of the array as 5, and if user enters 10 as the size of the array, only 5 memory blocks are available, but user wants 10 memory blocks. What should be the change I should make here? So that will be the problem in the program. So remember, whenever you are asking someone to enter the size of the array, what you should do is you have to declare array size as maximum as possible. For example, here I'm going to declare array size as 100. Okay. Now you may ask me why I'm declaring it as 100. See, I don't know the exact size of the array because user may enter the size of the array as 10, 20, 30, or only 5. If user enters only 5, that is okay. If I have declared it as 5 here. If user enters 20 memory blocks and I have declared only 5 here, only 5 memory blocks will be available. Other 15 memory blocks won't be available. So I should make sure that as maximum as memory blocks will be available, even if the user enters 20 or 30 memory blocks. Imagine ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, user 20 ಅಥವಾ 30 ಅಂತ ಎಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 100 memory blocks already available ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 20-30 memory blocks ನ we can easily use. If already there 100 memory blocks are there. If there are only 5 memory blocks and if user wants 20 memory blocks, then that will be the problem. That's why if you are asking the user size also, then declare the array with maximum number of size here, like a of 100. Okay, or you can declare it as a of 1000 also. Okay, 100 ಯಾಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂಸರ್ ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು 100 ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಎಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರಬಹುದು ಸೈಜ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ 100 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, now memory blocks just available. I cannot represent 100 here. I have represented only 5. Imagine that there are 100 memory blocks. Okay, user wishes to have use how many memory blocks? Only 5. So among 100, only 5 memory blocks will be used. After that, I'll ask the user to enter the elements of the array. So I value 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I is equal to 0. Condition, instead of writing I less than 5 here, I can write I less than n, because n ನಲ್ಲಿ exact size store ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, n ನಲ್ಲಿ exact size available ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ you are going to write I less than n, I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So within for loop, of course you people know what is this here. Scanf percentage d ampersand a of I value 0 ಇದೆ, ampersand a of 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. First value user enter ಮಾಡಿರೋದು store ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So because it is a for loop here, it keeps on storing. I value keeps on getting changed, and based on the I value of I, which represents the index value, the elements entered by the user are stored in the array here. Okay, so observe here, I value 4 ಆದಾಗ 4th index value ಗೆ element store ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಆ value store ಆಯಿತು. When the value of I becomes 5, what happens here is we'll check the condition. I value is 5, value of n is also 5, 5 less than 5, condition fails. By that time, all the elements entered by the user are stored here. So only important part of this program is this one. Printf enter the size of the array, scanf percentage d ampersand n. Hope you have understood, because we have already discussed this, and this is also very important here, I less than n. Once you get all the elements of the array, next thing is print those elements on the output screen. You know how to print the elements, same statement. Okay, same for loop. Only thing is, instead of writing some number here, you're going to write I less than n, something like that, and I plus plus. Hope you have understood this one also. These are some of the important programs on arrays or single dimensional arrays. So because it has only a row here, it is called as single dimensional array. Okay. Okay, we'll see. That is about single dimensional array. Don't worry about nodes and all. I'll provide the nodes for every concept which we'll discuss. Okay, so next concept is two-dimensional arrays. So, array programs or arrays which we have discussed earlier are all single dimensional arrays because there was group of memory blocks in the format of single row. That's why they were called as single dimensional array. So example, you can see here int a of 2, two group of memory blocks which we can see as a single row gets created. Okay, so index value is wrong here. So index value here, it should be 1. And even the address, is it correct? Address which I have described, it's not correct here. If the address of first memory block is 100 because it is an array here, address of second memory block should be 102 because it is integer, or 104. Okay. Now observe the next statement. Int a of, apart from only one square bracket and one value, I'm writing two square brackets and two values here. Now the important thing here is why there are two square brackets and how these two square brackets work, and what is the meaning of these two square brackets. That is very important. So let's see how these two square brackets work. Observe here, first square bracket and the first value represent how many number of rows. Second square bracket and second value represents how many number of columns. Two-dimensional arrays are also called as matrices or matrix. Clear? So if there is a matrix, it will be having rows and columns. That's why two-dimensional arrays are represented like this. Okay. Number of rows and number of columns. Both row value and column value, they are represented within square bracket. So okay, they are represented within square bracket. Now, what happens when you write this line? What computer will do? So computer will create an array called as A. Okay. Then how many memory blocks? Because there are two rows and two columns, four memory blocks are created. Four memory blocks are created. Okay. This is our representation of memory block. Computer really create agiralla. For our understanding, I'm writing this. Okay. Now, if there is a single dimensional array, it looks like this. For our representation, if it is two-dimensional array, it looks like this. Because in single dimensional array, every memory block is identified using some index value. Is it correct? Even in two-dimensional array, every memory block is identified by index value, but not single index value. It will be identified by two index values. Observe here, this first memory block is situated in this row and this column. Let's consider this row as 0th row and this column as 0th column. How this can be represented, this memory block? It will be represented as 0, 0. That means 0th row. It is in 0th row and 0th column. Okay. Similarly, this memory block is still in 0th row, but it is in which column? First column. So 0th row and first column. This memory block is in first row and which column? 0th column. This memory block, first row and first column. So this is how index values are decided in two-dimensional arrays. So this is our representation of two-dimensional array. Okay. So our representation of two-dimensional array and our representation of index values in two-dimensional arrays. Now let's see how computer creates a memory block. Computer still creates memory block like this itself, but it will create four memory blocks based on the square brackets and the values. Okay. After that, it'll give, or we are going to represent index values here like this: 0, 0 for first memory block, second one 0, 1, third memory block 1, 0, fourth memory block is represented as 1, 1. And this is how two-dimensional arrays are represented. So remember, this is the way two-dimensional arrays are represented and they are used in C programming language. Now, let's see this example here. Once you create a two-dimensional array, you can store values in that two-dimensional array. But how to store the values here? Same as single-dimensional array. Single-dimensional array ಯಾವ ತರ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅದೇ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So instead of semicolon, use assignment operator within square bracket, flower brackets. Because you already know how many elements you can store here in this array. How many elements? 4 elements. You can write all the 4 elements here. Okay, all the 4 elements can be written here. Now 17, 18, 26, 27, those will be stored one by one. 17, 18, 26, and 27. Hope you have understood this. This is what we call declaration of two-dimensional array. This part, this whole part is called as initialization of two-dimensional array. Declaration and initialization. Okay. Now let's see. When you initialize the two-dimensional array, values are getting stored in memory blocks. How to print the elements which are stored here? Okay, that is very important. Let's see how to print the elements which are stored in two-dimensional array. How do you print the elements which are stored in single-dimensional array? Of course, you are going to use for loop, right? Single-dimensional array ಇಲ್ಲಿ store ಆಗಿರೋ elements ನ ಯಾವ ತರ print ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? You are going to use for loop. Okay, so how do you print elements stored in two-dimensional array? Let's see that. Observe this line, it's very important. I'm not using animations here. That means number won't change. You have to imagine the numbers here in I and J. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 17, 18, 26, 27 ಅಂತ. Observe here, because it is two-dimensional array here, I have to use two for loops to print the elements of the array. If it was single-dimensional array, I would have used single for loop. Because it is two-dimensional array here, I have to use two for loops. Now, how this for loop works, how we have to use or analyze this, let's check that in a couple of minutes. I'll explain. Okay, so array elements are ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 17, 18, 26, 27 ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ one for loop ಬರೀತೀನಿ. For I equals 0. See, I here, this I here represents row index value. Remember, I here it represents row index value. Andre first ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ, this value is called as row index value. Second value is called as column index value. So row index and column index value of first memory block is 0, 0. So first for loop ಅಲ್ಲಿ I is equal to 0 ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ, that represents row index value, this one. Why I'm writing I less than 2? Because how many number of rows we have created? 2 rows, right? If I'm starting with 0, 0 and 1, that's why I'm writing I value should be 0, it should become 1, it should not become 2. If it becomes 2, 3 rows agate. That's why I'm writing I less than 2, I plus plus. So this is the statement block of first for loop. This closes here. Okay, this closes here. So within this statement block, I'm going to write one more for loop. Within this space, I'm going to write one more for loop here. Second for loop. Observe, for j equals 0. See, I'm not using I again here in the second for loop. Okay, instead of I, I'm using one more variable called as j. Okay, so instead of, observe here, for j equals 0. See, j represents column index value. J represents column index value. That's why I'm starting with j is equal to 0. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ 0th row ಮತ್ತೆ 0th column ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ you have to start I is equal to 0 and then j is equal to 0. Why I'm writing j less than 2? Because how many number of columns are there? Of course, there are 2 columns are there. That's why I'm writing j less than 2, j plus plus, because value of j keeps on incrementing here. Okay, now I is equal to 0, I less than 2 condition true irodinda computer enters this statement block. It immediately finds second for loop, j is equal to 0, j less than 2. Because condition true here, condition is still true here, computer enters second for loop, it enters here, it will execute this line. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಲೈನ್ ನ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರಿಂಟರ್ %d a of I j, %d, only 1% I'm writing a of I j. What is the initial value of I? 0. What is the initial value of j? 0. A of I j means a of 0, 0. A of 0, 0. Which value? 17. So 17 will be displayed on the output screen. Okay, let's stop here because I think you people have class at 4 o'clock. Do you have class at 4? Is there any class at 4 o'clock? Class idea. I didn't ask you people to send your username name. I'm asking whether you will have class at 4 o'clock. Okay. I know it's difficult to sit at 3:15 and concentrate this boring topics. I can't help it. Uh, it's okay. Let's stop here. I'll discuss this example in the next class with some more examples, and we'll also discuss matrices, which is there in our syllabus. Okay, so just be there in the next class. Do attend the next class and try to understand the concept. Okay, so uh, put your username and name, and let's stop this here. Thank you for attending.